Okay, we're on to question 4. And we've got this triangle here where we know the side AB is 4.1. We know the side BC is 5.3. We've also got the angle in between those two sides is 110. And we're looking for the angle down here. Now, normally, if we've got a problem involving two sides and two angles, we would go straight to the sine rule. However, to use the sine rule, we must have a side and the angle opposite that side. But that's not quite what we've got in this case. We've got this angle here, but we don't have the side opposite it. And we don't have this angle even though we've got the side opposite. So what's going to happen with this question is we're going to have to tackle it in two parts. The first part of the question, I'm going to work out the length of this side, the missing side over here. And once I've got that, then I'm going to use the sine rule to work out the missing angle. So to start off with, what I want to find is this missing side down here. That's going to be my question mark, the length AC. And I'm going to label that with a little a. So I'm breaking away from the labeling that they've given me. I'm using my own labeling system now. So I'm going to call this side little a, which makes this angle big A. It doesn't matter about the other two, but let's go for this one being little b, which makes this angle big B, and therefore C and C. So I'm going to use the cosine rule. And the cosine rule says a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. And I'm going to put all of these values that I know into that rule. So a squared, well, that's my question mark squared, equal to b squared is 5.3 squared, c squared is 4.1 squared, minus 2, b is 5.3, c is 4.1, and then, sorry, I'm just having to squeeze this on the end, cos A is cos of 110. So I'm going to type all this into my calculator. 5.3 squared plus 4.1 squared minus, oh, careful, minus 2 times 5.3 times 4.1 times cos of 110. So I type that in and I get the question mark squared is equal to 59.76. And I need to square root that to find the missing side. So I'm going to square root my answer. And that gives me the missing side is 7.73. Right, let's label that on here then. This missing side is 7.73 centimetres. So now that I've got this side, I've got enough information to use the sine rule, to work out my missing angle. I've got little a and I've got big A. I've got little b and I'm trying to find big B. So if you remember that sine rule, if you need a refresher on the sine rule, look back to question 1. The sine rule says sine A over A is equal to sine B over B. So let's put our values into there. Sine A, sine 110, over little a, which is what we've just worked out, 7.73, is equal to sine of big B. Now that's what we're trying to find out. They've called it x, so let's go with that then. Sine of x. X is what we're trying to find. If you prefer question mark, use a question mark. Over little b, which is 5.3. Right, so I need to get rid of this 5.3. So I'm going to multiply up by 5.3, and that will get rid of this 5.3 there. So I'll get sine x on its own. I'm actually going to bring that to this side just for ease. So sine x is equal to multiply by 5.3. So it's 5.3 multiplied by sine of 110 over 7.73. And we could type this into our calculator, but that's not actually what x is, that's what sine of x is. So I need to undo the sine. And remember, if we're undoing the sine, we're taking x out of the sine. What we are doing is we are inversing sine. We're doing inverse sine, otherwise known as sine minus 1. And so I need to pick this whole thing up and put it in that inverse sine. 5.3 multiplied by sine of 110 over 7.73. Okay, let's type that in then. And I've got that answer from earlier still saved on my calculator. To avoid any accuracy problems, I'm going to use that answer where I've put 7.73. I'm actually going to use that really long using the answer button. So inverse sine of 5.3 multiplied by sine of 110 over, and instead of 7.73, I'm going to use that answer from before so it's as accurate as possible. And let's see, 40.1. X is equal to 40.1 degrees. And again, 3 significant figures. So 40.1 is our answer there.